been the best team in terms of football and performance level by a country mile. Been brilliant all the way through. So we've got our work cut out on Sunday, but it does feel like Roy said, something's happening. Because sometimes you feel like it's your name on the trophy. Now we're not saying that here, but you just have a bit of luck. No. You score a goal with 80 seconds to go. You win a penalty shootout. You score in the last minute tonight. Just things are stacking up in your favour, and you build confidence. It just feels like there's something happening. But let's be clear, Spain have been a far better team in this tournament than we have so far.
But the best teams don't always win the tournament. That's what football and
it's a knockout competition. They don't always win the knockout competition.
You know,
2 finals, a semi-final and quarter-final. As Gary says, with how far England have come under Gareth Southgate, it's been fantastic. But there's always a but until you go and actually win something. So here's the opportunity.
Well, this is it, yeah. And what they've shown in the tournament, like you've heard with their interviews, is the resilience they've shown. Like you said there, Roy, a couple of times before that we're out of this tournament. They've shown resilience. Again, the bench, which is vitally important. I thought Jude made some fantastic points about players and being on the bench and not being ready to come on and make a difference. You heard Harry Kane talking about it as well, because you need the whole squad. Now, you know, people talking about the draw.
Here you go. Hope you're well.
It's not our fault that the other teams haven't won.
As you might expect, England having won, I'm watching the after chat. I want to get on tonight, have a cigar and celebrate. Okay, they haven't got to the final yet, but some chances of winning the final are pretty slim. But you know what? You've got to be there to have a chance.
Back in a couple of moments' time, we will hear from that man himself, Gareth Southgate, leading his country into another European Championship final.
I always find it funny how ready people are to write people off. So after the first couple of games, everybody was saying, well, it's the end of Gareth Southgate. Another tight Cuban cigar. Hey Josh. I think I'm going to go through each of these and find them all to be stiff. Very disappointing.
It takes the whole force to protect space. Join us. What if perfect sound was set free?
Tight.
To move us. Elevate us.
How you been, Josh?
Amplify our world. Perfect sound.
I was on James's live, not this week, but last week. I didn't see you.
Meet Sonos Ace.
Oh, that's unsmokable.
It's hard to see the screen in the pub. Stay in with 2 pizzas and 4 beers. Now £5 for members of our office.
This one's going out across the nation. We're here to connect you.
Just about.
Shout out to the
So out of four, these are half Coronas, a Chapman half Coronas. One of them is smokable out of 4. Well, one of them is virtually plugged. The other 2 are smokable, but very tight. Ridiculous.
New Sure non-stop protection is body heat activated. So no matter how hot you get, Sure keeps working against odor.
Pulled an all night though. Oh wow, that's heavy going.
72-hour non-stop.
Are you still doing what you've been doing in the past, the schools?
Activated by your body heat.
So what's happening in them that you would need to be up all night? Or is it that you're covering schools in different time zones? School building not calling. Oh, that's heavy duty in the summer. So you actually physically go over there and fix it? Do you not need an AC specialist for that? Yeah. Oh, it's summer camps. It is really criminal how rubbish the construction of these Cuban cigars is. It's ridiculous. It's daylight robbery. I really should stop buying. They don't work at night, right? Well, that's very dedicated of you to get them going so that they don't have a horrible day the next day. Well, I guess you've had some experience fiddling with them in order to have a crack at least. Mm. You know, as much as I like Cuban cigars, I just think it's just not worth the effort and it's not worth the money. It really isn't. I think also partly it's because they're narrower ring gauge. These are 44 ring gauge, which is not that narrow. It's supposedly wider than the regular sort of half Corona or Morava, the 42 ring gauge. So if this really is, I mean, it feels like a 42, I must be honest, but I think they're supposed to be 44, if I'm not mistaken. And I used to buy them quite a bit because they were the most affordable, but it's ridiculous when you've got a box of 25 cigars and maybe 15 of them are really very tight, and maybe half a dozen of them are unsmokable. It's just ridiculous. It's daylight robbery. I think the fact that they're narrower certainly makes it more prone to being tight. I tend to have less problems with Robustos and things like that. Last 2 years they've been working when the buildings are empty to reduce wasted energy use. That's why I'm putting use. Working when the buildings are empty to reduce wasted energy use. I don't get it. Would it not make more sense to work when they're there, so that they're anyway using the energy, rather than burning energy at night? Am I missing something there? Oh, I see what you mean. You go around turning off everything. That's crazy. Don't you have a kill switch for the building? Surely nowadays you'd have a kill switch. I know the school that I volunteered for, they had a kill switch. Try to hit every room every night. Wow. Has your job kind of changed? Because originally, what I understood was that you were kind of working remotely most of the time on systems, you know, external systems. Schools are ancient, 40 to 100. Oh, I see. So these are more like rural, sort of small town schools that you're talking about, as opposed to New York or some other big city? Use the perfect draw tool. It's opened it up a little bit. but still, it's pretty criminal. Working on this stacked Dublin, 17 buildings spread throughout the country, right? So I've got to do some. I've got to file the stem now, and then essentially I'm going to rusticate the rim, and then I've got to stain this in three different zones the customer wants, and shape this a little bit here at the bottom, and then do the stem as well. Job change because birds are climbing. Fair enough. If you can keep them down, then that's it, I suppose. Yeah, Mark, 100%. The only issue that I have with the Toscano Rosso, I really need to try the natural ones again. When I originally tried the regular ones, the Toscanos, I didn't like them. But maybe now, having smoked the Rossos, I might like the regular one. In the beginning, when I smoked the Rossos, I thought they were amazing, and I really liked them. But I'm finding them now to be a little bit too aromatic-y. You know, if I have them in my pocket, then wherever I go, I've got this very strong vanilla coffee kind of smell, and it's not always a good smell. And it kind of is a bit off-putting. So I don't know. I might need to try the other ones. They're still good to have in a fix. I went to a wedding last week or the week before, I don't remember, and I didn't take a pipe bag with me, and I didn't want to take big cigars and stuff. I just took the small little packet of Rossos. It's so compact, easy to carry around with you. It doesn't have to be humidified, and that was it. And it was just easy. $750,000. Wow. Well, I guess you justified your job. I hope you get a bonus. Hey, Claude. Ever thought of... Oh, sorry, you've deleted it. Well, if that 750 grand is directly attributable to work that you do, I don't know anybody that could say and prove their job worth. That's pretty amazing. I think you even if you got a 10% bonus, that would be cool. Even a 5% bonus of what you save. That's what you should get. You should get a commission on what you save. And that would be sort of a big, enthusiastic kind of, that would be a motivator. So the more you gain, the more they gain, or the opposite. The more you save them, obviously the more you gain. So that's a great motivator. And ultimately, the more they're paying you means the more they're saving. So it's a win-win. Although I wonder how easy it is to actually calculate what it is you're saving, or how much you're saving. Try for commission. Even 1% commission on top of a decent wage is good. I mean, it's not a huge amount of money, but 7.5 grand. But I think that's actually a miss for them, because even if it was 1 or 2%, it's still a motivator. I think they're stupid for not doing it, because it's for their gain. Anyway, I had to redo this pipe. This was the first version, but the drill was quite a way off, and I couldn't justify that. If it's slightly off, I'm okay with it, but it's not. It's more than slightly, so it's had to go in the sin bin. So, gonna do the stem. In the words of what's his name, Taylor, the manager of England a few managers ago, do I not like that? Something Taylor, Graham Taylor, was it Graham? I don't like working with acrylic stems. I've said it a few times recently. I just do not like it. Hey Yusuf, calculations are based off the base year usage. If we make no changes based on what we could have spent, how do we continue wasting? Oh, you're starting to sound like Kamala Harris. Can't understand what you're saying, man. But essentially, what if I'm understanding you correctly, you've got a base year, and you basically use that as a yardstick, and then each year following on, you compare to that year. Is that what you're saying? So, anything over that, you spent too much. Right, so you're doing it based on wattage and how much you, not on the bills per se, but on energy used. So I assume that's not just electricity, is it? Electricity, gas. And I guess that's fluid as well, because the rates for energy are changing all the time. So basing it on the energy makes more sense, yeah. So you're adding up the energy saved from all of the schools in your district and putting that together. Fuel, electric, propane, water, everything basically, all of your utility bills. Phone bills as well. I'll tell you one area where you could save is photocopying. I don't know, it depends on the contracts that you have with the photocopy companies, whether it's per copy or whether you have a service contract, but that's another area which schools especially, they do a huge amount of photocopying. Although nowadays a lot of stuff is done on iPads and stuff like that, but if you're saying not phone, only consumables, okay. Yeah, I mean, I was talking about photocopies. Photocopying, that's consumables, no? Photocopy paper, toner. Anyway, for those who are not paying attention, England just won against Holland 2-1 in the semi-final, going to the finals this Sunday. And for a change, it's not on Saturday, so I can actually watch it live. Tell you what, doing filing like that when you're gripping and pushing, it does my thumb in, it does this muscle here. And these muscles are usually quite strong because I'm used to holding a heavy camera equipment. Thank you, Yusuf. Let's hope we do well. I'm not expecting us to win, but if we win, you know, well, hey. I didn't expect us to win tonight either, to be honest. And we were lucky. I don't know if any of you guys have watched the match, but truth be told, they got a penalty, which on first glance, I didn't think it was a penalty. Neither did anybody else, neither did any of the commentators. But when you saw the replay and you watched it from various different angles, for me, the guy had both legs in the air. So for me, he was being reckless, feet up high, and basically charged in. So although it looked like he went for the ball, it was a 50-50. I think he was reckless, and I'm wondering if maybe that's why they gave a penalty. On the night, England didn't do too bad. The first half, I think they had the majority of possession, and they were the better team in the first half. In the second half, not so much. And when they scored, I was kind of half dreaming. I didn't realise we were already in the 90th minute of regular play, and then the goal suddenly came, and it was just a blur, you know. And they had to wait for the substitutions, and eventually the final whistle went, and it was just a bit of a shock, actually, in the best kind of way. I think the flavour profile of these half Coronas have changed. They have a little bit, although they had this floral kind of essence to it, this a bit of an aromatic kind of flavour. It was still a creamy Cuban type of flavour. Now it's the floral essence, and it seems to be almost be getting close to a Lakeland kind of flavour, and I'm really not enjoying it that much. I've got to be honest with you, I've been enjoying the New World Romeo and Juliet's very, very much. The 1875 Reserva rails, I can't complain. Excuse me. I've got to give credit to Gareth Southgate for sticking with his, you know, the way he managed the team. We as fans and the commentators, the football programs on TV and stuff like that, we are so fickle. You know, we literally are so fickle, unfaithful. You know, the first couple of games they did play bad, so I suppose it's a natural reaction. But I think England have done this so many times in tournaments. They start really, really slow, and sometimes they'll go out early on because they haven't yet sort of gelled as a team, which is weird because you expect them to be training together for months before the tournament, so they should know each other well enough. They know each other fairly well from the Football League, even if they're not on the same football team, but still, it's not the first time, and it's such a short tournament that it's just weird how after, what is it now, 4 games, or was this the 5th game maybe, I'm not sure, and we're in the final. So it's quite a short competition, even if it lasts a couple of weeks, but in terms of how many games you play, it's not a huge competition. And it's just weird how, not having played that well and we're in the final, tonight's game was probably their best game of the tournament so far, but even that wasn't like amazing, and based on the level that they played at, you wouldn't expect them to beat Spain. But on the night, you just can never tell. You just can never tell. On the night, you can get goals, and you can go against the grain kind of thing, and go against the run of play as well. One of the most frustrating parts of the game, though, for me, maybe it's because I'm old and I'm used to the old way that they played, but didn't see enough through balls. They're going around on the wings all the time and very little down the centre. And in the first half, there was various opportunities where they could have put the through ball to Kane and possibly could have done some damage that way. Look, I'm just an armchair criticiser, but that's how I see it. That they're relying too much on the wings, on Saka, Trippier, and that's good, but they could have done with doing a little bit more down the middle. I think some through balls, what I call Glenn Hoddle balls. Yes, I'm showing my age. Where with a bit of vision, whether it's Glenn Hoddle or whether it's Paul Gascoigne or whether it's David Beckham, just those sort of magic balls from the midfield where the strikers are running and you put it in their path. But for some reason, we're literally the whole time forcing it on the wings. And I'd like to see a little bit of a balance, a little bit of a mix-up, a bit of everything. And it could be that the way he structured the team, it works that way on the wings. But the best teams in the world, they can, mix it up and play on all different sort of. They're so good at what they do, so confident on the ball. They just, can do it from the wings. They can do it down the centre. Hey Troy, I don't really support the league anymore. I'm too old for that. I don't know. I don't seem to be interested that much in it anymore. I'll always follow the England team without a doubt. But my particular team is Tottenham Hotspur. But I really do not follow them. I used to as a teenager, maybe into my 20s. Beyond that, I kind of grew out of it, and I don't even know the players. The only player that I know is Kane, pretty much. Oh, and Son. There's a guy called Son on the team. So that's about it. I really don't know anybody else. There's a lot of Man United fans out there who are going through a frustrating period. I was talking to my son a couple of weeks ago, and I was saying, what happened to Man United? A few years ago, Man United was just the team to beat, and they were winning everything. Suddenly, they're out of it, and Man City, who were a nothing team a few years ago, suddenly they're it. I thought you said time to make a baby. Time to make like a baby and head out first. Very good. Time for dinner and a workout before heading to work. Nice to talk to you again. And you, Josh, thank you very much for joining. Good luck with the AC. I hope you get it sorted. Excuse me. Hello? Hello? No, I'm in a live at the moment. Sorry. See that. My son trying to make me taxi driver again. Well, folks, I didn't have a huge amount to come on and talk about. It was really just to sort of celebrate England's win, and I mean, I could carry on with this pipe, I guess. But there's a limit to how much I can do because I can't turn the machines on. Family's going to bed now. So I'm going to do some hand sanding and maybe a little bit more filing. But I think I'm going to call it a night, just a quick one for tonight. Thanks very much everybody for joining, and good luck England come this Sunday. See you guys. Catch you on the next one.